If you are new to the channel, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. For the past year and a half or so, I have been deep diving into Filament and building projects with it and looking at packages and things like that for it. For anybody who's been developing for a while, I don't know if it's for anybody else, but for me, if I've been working on one specific thing for a really long time, I have this strong need to break stuff. So that's what we're going to do today. Something that I've noticed on not only my videos, but on others as well. Right down in the comments section, there's always at least one person who asks, does this work with the current version of Laravel, no matter what the project is? Today, we're going to be answering that question. Now, when I put out the call for anyone who had a package, Arturo was kind enough to email me and send me to his project. So if you go down to where it's Laravel Task Admin, this is the project that I wanted to break. As you can see, the last commits or anything like that were about 5 years ago, which is perfect. That means it is around Laravel 5, whereas we are currently on Laravel 10. This is the project that we're going to be working on. Instead of forking the repo, what I just did was I installed it into my system and then I put it back within my GitHub account. This way I can make changes to it, break it, do whatever I want to do with it without affecting his original repo. That's exactly what I've done today. So I already have that on my system and that's what we're going to be working with. Now I'm going to be using Laravel Sail. If you're curious to know how I clone the repo, I did a video last week going over all of that. So that's something that I'm not going to be covering in this video because I've already done it. The other thing that I've done is I've just created a Laravel project with all of the things that we're going to need in here. Inertia, Jetstream, Sanctum, Ziggy, all of these things for the composer.json, as well as the Inertia View 3. We're going to remove all the Tailwind and stuff. We're going to use the Laravel Vite plugin for Vue, as well as Vite and Vue 3 point blah, 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 blah. So I'm going to keep this in the background and I'll pull it up as we need it. Well, as I said, because we are cloning this project from Arturo's package and we're not going to be making changes to his package directly, I want to get rid of the Git file. So here we can just do remove rf.git. Now we've removed the Git, so when I get ready to push it up, it'll be in my repository instead of his. So now that that's been done, we no longer have master in here. Our repo is no longer attached to a repository. Also, what we can do is close this and change the name as well so that it is ours. So from the command line, I'm just going to back up one folder, and then we're going to try to move Laravel Task Admin to Laravel Task Admin. Let's just make sure there's no other lingering folder. Okay, so now we can just cd into that. That'll be our new repo name. So let's go ahead, open it up. As you can see, we have the new name up here. The first thing that I want to do is I want to go ahead and create the repo before we put anything in here. Now I'm going to put this up after we finish this project. I don't know if it's going to be 1 or 2 episodes, but I'll put this repo up afterwards just because it will just be a lot easier for me to do it that way. I'm going to go ahead, pause the video and set up that repo, and then I'll be back in a minute. Our repo is all set. As you can see, we have a main link down here. And if you're curious about how I did that, again, I did that in last week's video. So go ahead and check that out before asking me how I did it. So the first thing I want to do is I want to create a .env file based off of this example. And I also want to create the Docker Compose so that we can have that set up and ready to go for when we bring this into the Docker environment. Here, I'm just going to do copy .env example, and then we're just going to put it in the .env space. And then we're also going to touch Docker Compose YAML. Let's go ahead and do this. I'm just going to go ahead and grab it from our practice project. And that is right here because I've already set it up to set us up with Vite, to set us up with a MySQL database, and to also set us up with Mailpit, I believe it is. So I'm just going to copy this. And I'm just going to put it in this file right here so that we have it ready to go when it's time to bring this up to Sail. Now, the next thing that I want to do is I want to open up the .env file and make some changes. We're going to make some more changes later, but for now, I just want to set up the Sail stuff. So the host name for that will be MySQL. This will be Laravel Task Admin. Username is Sail, and the password is password. Let's go ahead and close these out for now. And check out our composer.json. Now you can see here we have PHP 7.13, we have Laravel Framework 5.16. We can make some significant changes to this. For one, we can go ahead and first add our PHP And so I'm going to do it for 8.0, and I'll also do it for 8.1. This one, I'm just going to go ahead and jump straight to 10. I think it's 10.10 is the most recent one. Something you can also do is just tag on like I did here to make it usable within the previous version of Laravel, which is fine. But for me, I'm going to completely break this. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it up to 10. The Fi Developer Proxy, I don't think we're going to be needing that. And Tinker will be something else. Let's grab our requires so that we can make sure we get the correct things. I'm just going to grab this real quick. Okay, so we have our PHP. We can also add the guzzle. We can install inertia differently, so I'm not going to do that one here. We have Laravel Framework, same thing with Jetstream, and Sanctum I'll leave so that we can install that. Tinker and Titan Cozy. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy these two. And we can get rid of the old one. And when we install Jetstream, it'll also install Titan Cozy, so we don't need that one. And for these, we can keep all of these actually. And the Laravel debug bar is actually the version that is being used currently is 3.8.1. So now we can just remove those. Okay, let's go ahead, open up the terminal. We'll see exactly what we broke. Now, I've just upgraded to Windows 11, so I have 0 projects in my Docker installation, which means that it's going to take some time and it's much quicker in Windows Terminal when that is the case. So I'm just going to go ahead, paste in the command. And if you're not sure what this command is, I highly suggest you go and look at the previous video, like I said before, that explains to you what this is. So let's go ahead and install our vendor packages. This is going to take a while, so when it stops and it gets its error, I'll come back. Okay, well, that wasn't too bad. It actually took about 2 or 3 minutes to get to our first error, which is in the app exceptions handler file. There is an exception. This has been changed. This is just something I know because I was using Laravel when it was at version 7, so I know that this is a change. A good resource to use is the Laravel documentation. Whenever you're doing something as big as these upgrades, Laravel is pretty good about having an upgrade guide that tells you exactly what's going on with the changes. So if you're changing with each version, it tells you how to do it from version, as it says here, to version 10 from version 9. But I know that this change was done at some point in Laravel 7. So I just went to that version. If I go down a little bit, you'll see exactly the error that just came up, which is right here. It's a Symfony 5 related upgrades. It's a high impact. And all it's basically doing is where it says exception, we just need to add throwable instead. In that file, it is actually in the app folder. And it is right in the handler file right here. And as you can see, exception is the name of the game in this file, which we need to change to throwable, right? But something that we can also do is, since we're completely upgrading this project, we don't have many changes here. There's just a confirm, I think it's confirm password in here, and then just some quick changes with exception. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the file from our practice project. Right in here, if we go up to app, handler, exceptions handler, as you can see, it's a current password change and the file itself is just much smaller. So we'll go ahead, copy it. And then we'll go into our current file and we'll just paste that in. Now let's try to run that command again and see what other kind of errors we might get before we can bring this up. And as you can see already, there's another one. So in the cache.php, this is something that was changed. I can't remember when. I think it was from 9 to 10, where a lot of these were replaced with using the actual facade instead of the string slug. So let's go and take a look at the file and see what's going on. This is in our config cache.php. As you can see, if you go down to the bottom, you see string slug. That's basically what's changed, but this is also caching different parts of our app. So memcache, the cache stores, the default cache driver, all of that information is in here. We can also go ahead and grab that one as well. And as you can see, there are a lot more config files in this one. We'll deal with that later. We're just going to use what is affecting our particular system. As you can see, string slug. So let's go ahead and copy this because this hasn't changed all that much. We have our string facade and the slug, and that should be good. Let's try it again. Now the same situation in the session.php config file. So let's go ahead, grab it from here. It's the same thing essentially. And in the session, we'll go ahead and paste it. Try it again. Now what this is saying is that the auth roots in our web.php, you can see it right here, the routes/web.php has something called auth roots. And it is saying you can install the Laravel UI package. Now, back in the day, there was a command that you could run when you first installed Laravel. It already had this set up for you. And then it switched to a command where you could do PHP artisan make auth. That would get this set of routes as well as the controllers, which this package definitely has. And as you can see, this handles the authentication, but we're not going to be using these. So we can actually go ahead and just delete this. Now we don't have to worry about imports because importing wasn't really a thing for this file back in the day. As you can see, the home controllers, stuff like this was already picked up in Laravel and everything has changed. But we will deal with these at a later time. Right now, we're going to leave this exactly the way it is. Go back, try to run it again. Okay, look at this. We're finally successful in having our composer packages installed. So let's close all of these out. As you can see, now we have the vendor folder, and we also don't have the node modules, which is fine. For now, I just want to worry about this. We're going to open this one up, and then we're going to do sail up. Because anything we need to update or install, we can do it in the Docker container. This is going to take some time. I'm going to pause the video. You know the drill. Okay, now that took a really long time, but again, as I said, I upgraded to Windows 11, so I have 0 Docker containers running on this. This is the first Docker container, and that always takes some time. It looks like everything kind of was pushed up, and so we're good to go there. But the first thing that I do want to do in here is I want to... Some of these key maps that we have in here don't actually... Well, they work, but it's been updated. So we're going to go over to the test project and we're going to copy over some information just to clean this up a bit. So I can go ahead, close that one. And we'll go down to the composer.json. And these are good, the autoload and the autoload dev. So I'll just copy these two real quick. And as you can see, they're a bit different. First one has a class map, which this one no longer has, and the database and factories are set up a little bit different. They're set to work with PSR4, as well as the app is the same thing. So I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of this. And our tests are also with the PSR4, so that's pretty much the same thing there too, but we'll go ahead and just do that like that. It's fine. The next thing are these scripts, and all of this stuff here, I'm going to copy it. It's just some information with our scripts that they're being picked up a little bit differently. Some things is just slightly different, but I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to just paste this in here just to make sure that everything is updated the way it is for Laravel. Where are we? We're Laravel 10. I'll get rid of this one. It's the same thing, but here we are. Good. Now we can run a composer command. And we'll just do sail composer dump autoload. Our composer is updated. Before we can really start installing our Jetstream and inertia and stuff like that, there are some things that we need to actually change in this project. The first thing that I want to do is take a look at the app. And as you can see, these are actually models. Again, back in Laravel 5, there wasn't really a models folder, so we can actually create one here. And then we can just grab these and we can move them to that models folder. We'll need to change the namespace. And for now, that should be good. As you can see, it's just a basic task results table thing, which we're going to upgrade and update that a little bit. And we can go to the tasks folder, do the same thing. And anywhere that we are using that, which I don't think this one's right here, that should be good. The last one that we can do is the user model. And it's just very, very simple and basic. where are we using this? We're using this in a few different places. So let's just go one by one and check them. In the controller, the home controller, tasks controller. So this will now be changed to app models. Let's go down. That should be good. Home controller is fine. The auth routes, we don't have to worry about them just yet. But another place that I know that this is in our app service provider, and we'll deal with them as they come up, but right now we're just going to focus on this one. So it'll be models in here. And then if we go down a little bit, we're using observers and some other things in here too. So it'll be interesting to see how they come together and work. And just as to make you guys aware, this is not a code review in any way. I'm not judging any of the code that's in here. I am just going to take it and make it work with Laravel 10. That's the sole goal. So that should be good for now. I, at this point, want to start installing and configuring our Jetstream Sanctum packages for the backend. I have installed Sanctum here, but we didn't actually quite configure it yet. So we can go to the Laravel documentation, and if we go down, we can publish the service provider. Again, we've already installed it, so we'll just copy this one, paste it in, and for me, I need Sail Artisan, and so now we have it in our config files. And we're not going to run Artisan Migrate yet, but what we can do is add the trait to the user model. And I think that that is it for right now. Everything else should be good. Oh, do I not have this? Hang on. Apologies for that. When I upgraded, I forgot to activate my extensions for the WSL environment. Now we're good. Now we're getting some weird errors that will help us out. So let's go ahead and import the API tokens. And that should be good for right now. This also should have created a new file for personal access tokens, and that just comes with the Sanctum installation. So we'll go ahead and close this. Now we can start bringing in our Jetstream packages. So now at the Jetstream documentation, we can go to installation and we can just require this. Good. That's also brought in Fortify amongst some other things that could be useful. Now, after that, we can install Inertia. I'm going to do it without Teams. And we have dark mode and stuff here as well. And actually, before we get into installing Inertia, I want to change up the package.json so that we can clean it up and get rid of our Webpack mix stuff. What does a script file look like now? Well, in our test file, we go to package.json. You can see that we can just grab this build script here, which means we can also get rid of this one. And our dev dependencies. Now, for right now, I am just going to take these. I'm going to create a quick notes file. And that'll show up down here. I'm going to go ahead and paste these in just so that we have a record of them, but we're not going to need them for in here. So let's go ahead and bring in our Jetstream. Grab that. Well, we do have a bit of an error here. As you can see in the Fortify config file, undefined constant app service provider. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. And all the way down here, this is no longer a key, right? Because our service provider is actually a lot different than what it used to be in version 5. So let's go take a look at that real quick. Or sorry, the root service provider. It has a namespace here, which this is the old way of doing it, and it's still something that works, but we're not going to use that like that. So we have map API routes, map web routes, and that's all defined down here. We can actually change this. In our test project, we go to app, providers, route service provider. As you can see, this is the home key that it's looking for, as well as it just condensed that route basically and put it in the boot method. So we can just copy this one and paste that in, and that should be good. So let's try it again. So it created our migrations. Nothing to modify, and we already have the Sanctum file, and it's also printing out our inertia requests.php. While it's doing that, let's go and take a look at the middleware, handle inertia middleware. There it is. Great, so let this finish running and then I'll come back. Okay, so we have an error, vite-config.js isn't available because we didn't add one, but that's fine. I just want to check out some things. In our package.json, it installed all this stuff. We aren't going to be using the Tailwind stuff, as I said before, but more importantly, if you take a look, we have 111 files that have been added. If we take a look at the .git ignore, there's a lot more stuff in it now than there used to be, so we can update this in our test project. Git ignore, let's copy this one. That's fine, at least we updated it. We'll close this, and this should be good. Features. Something that we can do too is create that. Oh, it has the vite config. Okay, good. So we can actually uninstall this Tailwind stuff. So from here, we'll just uninstall them one by one. You can see it. We'll do npm uninstall Tailwind CSS. Sale. And then we can do at Tailwind CSS / typography. This should be /. And then we can do forms. And we can also remove the Tailwind config file as well as the Webpack mix. And in the post config, we can remove Tailwind from in here as well. Let's try to run that install inertia command and see if that brings in that Laravel stuff. The Laravel Vite plugin. And yes, it reinstalled this stuff. Okay. Yep. I'm going to go ahead and do this off camera and then I'll come back. I'm just going to remove the stuff that we just re-added. I have removed the stuff that I messed up as well as pushed the changes that we've made so far to that repo. I've staged all the changes to the repo, but if you take a look, we also have the new components folder and all the JS packages for that. What I want to do now is I want to install the things that we need for Bootstrap. But before we do that, I want to install Axios. We'll do sail npm install Axios, and then we'll also do save dev as a dev dependency. Okay, there it is. Let's go and install Bootstrap. In Bootstrap 5, they've made it so that you can use Vite. I don't know if it was available in Bootstrap 4 or not because I didn't use it at the time, but all you have to do is just go down to where it says Bootstrap and Vite install. We don't have to do that. We already have Vite in store, but we can install the Bootstrap and the Papa.js core. And I actually want to do save dev. And of course I did it again. Okay, while that's running, let's grab the next command. We do need the sass. Did it again. I'm really tired. I'm gonna end the video soon. Okay, so this is just describing our project structure, which has already been taken care of. We can also go ahead and create our folders that we'll need. It's not going to be assets. I'm going to move this folder to out there. And let's take a look. We have variables, we have app.scss. And because we're not actually using this CSS folder anymore, we can delete it. And what's in our assets? This, we're not using anything in here, so we can delete these as well. So that should be good. This is just the Bootstrap classes, the app.scss, and we need to, in our JavaScript file, in the app.js, instead of CSS, we can do Sass, and then we'll create, well, a CSS coming from here. And then Bootstrap will be the same, which we don't have the file. I think I accidentally deleted something. Let me go ahead and do Bootstrap JS. Well, it doesn't really matter that I deleted it because we needed to update that file anyway. So in our test package, we can go to the resources.js, bootstrap.js, and we can pretty much just copy the same thing. The only things that we need to really change are these in the .env file. So we'll go ahead and do that now before I forget. It'll be this stuff here. And there looked like there were more things for Pusher, but we're not really dealing with Pusher, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. But I do want to grab the mail pit information, so we'll go ahead and do that. And we'll replace our mail trap info here. As you can see, back then also we were using mail trap as the default instead of mail pit, but here we are. That should have been installed. We have our folders in the correct places. Let's see what's next. Now, since we're using Laravel with Vite, we don't actually have to put this path or anything in there, and we can go ahead and start using it. But something that we should do, this should be in our app.css, which is correct, but it does not have that little squiggly line. So we'll make sure that we can do that. We can remove this from here. And then we can actually do this in our bootstrap.js. That should be pretty much it. Bootstrap.js will go up top. We'll put it up here. And then we'll do window.bootstrap equals bootstrap. So whenever we call it, this will be global. We can use it right from in here. Great. So I think that about does it for our dependencies. We have everything that we need. Let's just run npm run dev just to make sure that that's running. Push your host variable. Where's this coming from? Can't find Laravel Vite plugin. We can just run sail npm install Laravel Vite plugin. Okay, so we're still getting errors with our .env file, but it looks like it's installed it. Why don't we go ahead and fix the thing I said we didn't have to worry about, which is in the .env, this pusher stuff. Paste that in, and now let's try to run npm run dev. So now we have our node packages up. And it looks like we have some kind of error with our middleware, trust proxies. Let's go check that out. Actually, this is calling the by developer proxy trust proxies, which we're not actually using anymore. So let's go and take a look at our test project to see what this actually is now. Okay, so this is now using HTTP middleware, and it's got some things in here. So we can just copy this one And it only has the one now, so it's been updated. Okay, let's try it again. No application encryption key, correct? We didn't actually put that in here yet. I'm just going to put this down for now. Artisan key generate. Try to bring this up again. We have to migrate. I'm just going to open up another one. This way we don't have to keep shutting it down. Okay, looks like we're getting some errors. View already exists, table sessions. Create sessions table. Okay, we have two. I'm just gonna delete one. Well, we have three of them. I'm just gonna delete all of these. That must have been when I was reinstalling Inertia or Jetstream. So now we're good. We're using Inertia, so we're not going to see these, and we don't have anything going on in our controllers or anything yet. We will deal with that in the next episode, but as you can see, now we have an active project. Also, you can see here that we have debug bar, and because we're not really using the app.play.php, this is not working for anything. If you're enjoying the content, please go ahead and click that like button, as it really does help out the channel. Here's a video YouTube thinks you'll like, and here's a playlist to follow along. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.